Bowers Game Corner presents Gencon Video Bonanza 2014. Made possible by Billionaire Banshee, Guys, Games, and Beer, Dashing Inventor Games, creators of the Simple System role-playing game system, and Zonko, makers of Mobs, the t-shirts that turned life into an RPG.
Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for something very, very special. We're going to be doing our top 10 games that we saw at Gen Con 2014. And Gen Con was, it was a blast. It was a blast and a half. Just games.
Everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Outside, hotels, restaurants, everywhere within probably 5 to 10 blocks there were games.
Video games.
In the streets. There were DS players everywhere.
Walk at a normal pace, people! Gosh, sorry, that'll go on the top 5 disappointments list. But anyway, this is our top 10 games that we saw at Gen Con. Now, we weren't able to play all the games we would have liked to because, well, we were trying to interview everything that moved.
Super busy.
But we saw a boatload of games. We're going to be going over our top 10 games. We each have a different top 10 list, and we actually arranged it so that this is going to be 20 completely different games. Because there were so many games to cover, I tried to make it so there was no crossing of the streams, so to speak. But first,
everyone forgets that's how they beat the thing in the end, you know?
I forgot that.
Yeah.
That'd be a sweet game, actually. Alright, so honorable mention. We each have one honorable mention. What do you got for your honorable mention?
I've got Samurai Spirit by Antoine Bauza. I'm a big fan of the Seven Samurai and all that, and that's kind of where this whole theme is coming from. It's got wonderful artwork, and the guy couldn't be nicer when we talked to him. It just looks like it's going to be a great game. It's going to look amazing, and that's really what scratches my itch.
Oh yeah, and Antoine Bauza, I mean, he's absolutely outstanding. Seven Wonders Ghost Stories. I mean, he knocks it out of the park each and every time. And when he was telling me about the game, when I did the interview with him, it was just like this incredibly difficult cooperative game. And literally, after we got done with the interview, I was like, I want to buy a copy of this. And he's like, oh, this is one of the, it's sold out in no time. And I was like, ugh! But needless to say, this is definitely one that I'm going to be getting because it looks really, really cool. But those were, oh no, mine actually is a 7 as well. Mine is Seventh Hero from AEG. This one, it had a little bit of buzz going into it. I got to play it, and I liked it an awful lot. Essentially, you're trying to get 6 heroes in front of you, and you're the 7th hero, as cliche as that sounds. But it's all about kind of bluffing and sending things around the table. I liked it. I thought it was an absolute blast. It's one that I definitely plan on purchasing and eventually getting to game night because it's a lot of fun. Now, let's get to our top 10, though.
Number 10, for me, I got Villainy by Mayfair Games. You get to be a bad guy, which is, you know, something I like to play around with, and they make some solid games, so, you know, I'd really want to check that one out. That one definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah, he likes to go to the library and push down children.
One time!
Well,
he was on a DS.
I also I really like the art style in that game.
Yeah.
It wasn't cartoony, but it was a little bit cartoony. I liked it an awful lot. I hope it does pretty well. For me, my number 10 was Two Rooms and a Boom. And I believe this is actually number 10 on my most anticipated games. It's from Tuesday Night Games. I got a chance to play it. I ended up playing it like 4 or 5 times. Absolutely loved it. Essentially, there's going to be a president, there's going to be a bomber, and the bomber's trying to be in the same room as the president, and, you know, there's 2 teams, but then there's all these other people who might have alternative missions that you're trying to complete. It really does play lightning quick, because they have timed rounds. It's supposed to be 16 minutes. I'd say I put it about 18 to 20 minutes, but it was a blast and a half. We were playing with about 30 people, and it was a lot of fun.
And a half.
That's a terrible pun. Unintentional. The one thing people are going to ask, obviously, is it doesn't replace Werewolf, and for me, it doesn't, but I think they really complement each other. They definitely had different feels, and I could absolutely see myself at Gen Con on a Saturday night going, I'm going to play a game of Werewolf, then I'm going to play a game of this, and I can play a game of Werewolf, and a game of this. A lot of fun. Tuesday Night Games, Two Rooms and a Boom. It's not out yet, but it's coming out soon. Looks fantastic. Well, it is fantastic.
My number 9, right?
Yep.
On me. Number 9 is Piratacon. This one we kind of got lassoed in towards. I think we passed it by our first time, and it's a bunch of G-rated stuff for the most part. Setting out, you know, it's a Gen Con table. They got to kind of keep it G-rated. But she showed us the white notebook. Leslie did. She opened the white notebook and opened our eyes, and pretty much.
It was something else. And I actually got online. I looked up the gameplay. The gameplay looked pretty tight as well. I don't think you probably got that deep, but I mean, some of the images were triple X. Let's not beat around the bush here. We're not talking about Cinemax on a Saturday night here. We're talking about
Hustler,
drunken orgies. It was something else that's very interesting.
But like cartoon Animal Hustler.
But here's the thing, a lot of people are going to poo-poo on this and say, this has no place, but it does. I mean, we're all adults here, except for the children. But
Don't Google this. Don't Google this.
I don't know if it's on my top 10, but it definitely was something that was really interesting.
That was a great experience in itself.
And it's been around for a couple years now. They have like 7, 8 expansions, so there is definitely a market for this kind of thing. My number 9 is a working title. It's currently called Cypher Ops, but I have a feeling the title is going to change. It's from Nazca Games, but they're working together with another mystery company. He would not tell us who that mystery company was, but at the end of the interview, he put on a reddish, plaidish hat.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know what the heck that's all about. But it's essentially like, if you ever played Splinter Cell, it felt a lot like that. It looked a lot like that. The components are going to be top-notch, he was telling me. It looked super cool. It's one I absolutely can't wait to check out whenever it comes out, whatever name it ends up coming out on. Right now it's called Cypher Ops from Nazca Games, though. Number 8?
I got Iron and Ale by Table Forged LLC. This is a dwarven drinking game.
Yeah. And this one was really intriguing to me. I mean, it's got challenges where you slap people in the face and you're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, well, you have to balance getting slapped in the face or giving up points.
Yeah, I mean
that sort of thing.
Taking drinks.
The drunker you get, the later in the game, the more your strategy changes, and that slap in the face doesn't really seem like such a bad idea. So I like the hardcore incorporating of the drinking, because it truly is a drinking game. Without drinking,
gorgeous artwork as well.
Yeah.
And that is one thing. This is not one of those games that you can play to make it into a drinking game. This is built from the ground up to be a drinking game, which I'm all for. I mean, I honestly don't think there's enough of those. But part of the problem is they're hard to get funded because it's somewhat of a niche market.
Sure. I'm part of that. I'm part of that.
I think
and you'll see that later on too.
Yeah, because we will be having a review coming up in the next couple weeks for Iron and Ale, because they were nice enough to hook us up with a copy, and then they proceeded to sell out. A bunch of sellouts. They sold out all their copies. So awesome for them. My number 8, and this one really hurts me. I had one goal at Gen Con this year. Well, one game-related goal, and that was to play Dead of Winter from Plaid Hat Games. I said, I'm going to play that game. Nothing is going to stop me. And I didn't get to play it. But I got to see it played. I probably sat around a table of it being played for about an hour through various different points. I did an interview with them. I found out that the next game, this is from Plaid Hat Games as well, I don't know if I mentioned that, is going to be like a Lost in Space theme. It looks amazing. It absolutely looks just amazing. It's dripping with theme. I can't wait to get my hands on this game. This is one that's probably going to be the game I beg my wife for Christmas, because she normally gets me one game for Christmas, and I have a feeling Robinson Crusoe just got bumped down and Dead of Winter just got bumped up.
Yeah, that's one I wish I would have got to spend a little bit more time around while we were there.
It looked absolutely cool, and Plaid Hat Games always knocked it out of the park.
Going to number 7.
Oh, yeah.
Bigfootses by Bigfootses Games LLC. This one caught me with the artwork. It was on my most anticipated. We got there, we met the guy, we talked with him, he showed us the game, and right off the bat I was hooked because he starts talking about having Bigfoot's urine that you put on douse on your head to cover your scent, and I was like, that's the kind of humor I need. He's got packs of beef jerky as part of the game, so there's all kinds of little nods here and there. And it's got the humor to back up the great, fun cartoon styles that he's got going on.
And this is another game that sold out. Very, very happy for them. Now, you actually got this game. You got a chance to play it.
Yeah, I played it. I played it with my wife. I played it with my 7-year-old daughter. We had to explain a few cards to her, and I heard from you, and after I did the first video, that it's a Munchkin ripoff. That's what some people are saying. That's what I heard
a lot of people saying.
So we played it, I played Munchkin too, and I didn't get that. I really didn't, and so I was excited that it was something different, it was something fresh, it was totally totally its own thing, and it was good, and we really liked it, and we had fun. My daughter was actually pretty upset that she didn't win. She got competitive, and if she can get competitive, then you know that it's a good game and it's working.
That's one I hope to play in the near future. Also, I got to mention the artwork on that. It reminds me a lot of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
that's partially why I liked it quite a bit. The artwork style. My number 7 was Heroes Wanted from Action Point Games. Now, I was lucky enough, I got a pickup game of this. There's just a bunch of random people playing it. I was like, hey, can I join you guys? Joined in. Absolutely love the game. But I will say, component-wise, I was a little bit skeptical because there was like a chip on the board. There were pips falling out of the dice when the very first game they got it out. So I hope that's not a regular thing with the game, but the gameplay itself is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. You're going to be playing essentially as a really crummy superhero trying to join the Avengers of your city. You're going to be fighting these villains who are littering and bootlegging DVDs and all sorts of stuff like that. The artwork's really good. The gameplay's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it an awful lot. That was Heroes Wanted from Action Point Games.
All right, where are we at? Number 6, Lift Off, Get Me Off This Planet by Eduardo Baraf. We got a chance to share a few slices of pizza and play this game, and it was really fun. You're these little alien meeples inside your planet that's going to explode, and you have to race to get all of your color off of the planet before the planet blows up. And so, you know, you're trying to get off there with trampolines and rocket launchers and jetpacks and all sorts of different things. And it's really competitive, but still a little cooperative. You know, maybe you want to work with some people to try and get your guys off too. And so it really put a little spin on it, and I like that one a lot.
This is one of those games that I had to cross off my list so he could put it on his list. This game, it was a lot of fun. It completely blew me away. It actually just recently ended on Kickstarter. I still think you can pre-order it, though, if you get to it quick. Definitely worth pre-ordering. It is a fantastic family weight game. It might be the best family game I've played so far this year. I know the I believe it's called the Kinder Spiel Awards. They don't normally nominate Kickstarter games, but I think this absolutely could be in that same sort of category because, I mean, definitely. Yeah, I think ages 7, 8, and up could probably figure it out with some help. Great game, and he ended up raising $50,000. It's getting custom dice, custom bunch of stuff. So,
and it already looked beautiful the way that it was, so it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that ends up turning out. My number 6 was Bomb Squad from Tasty Minstrel Games. Now, you might be sensing a theme here. I got quite a few Kickstarters on here. I love Kickstarters, and a lot of people think Kickstarter is going to start going declining. I don't. I really don't. That's one thing I noticed about this year's Gen Con was there were tons of games I was interested in, and I just kept hearing, oh, it's going to be on Kickstarter soon. Oh, it just got off Kickstarter. Oh, it's on Kickstarter right now. And I was like, really? You know, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not a big fan of when the big companies like Queen Games do it and stuff like that. But for some of these smaller companies that are trying to get to be bigger companies, looking at you, Tasty Minstrel, who made Bomb Squad, I'm all for it. And Bomb Squad was a blast and a half. It is incredibly tense. If you ever played Hanabi, it's got these Hanabi rules where you can't see your cards. You don't have to put them on your head like this. I don't know why I did that. You're going to be trying to go into a building, defuse bombs, rescue people, go through doors. It's all completely timed, cooperative. Yeah. And you were playing, but you said it was tense.
Yeah, it was tense. I was just standing behind the camera watching. But, you know, you've got a timer there ticking away. You're trying to say things, but not the wrong things, say the right things, and say the best things. And you're trying to program your robot around. Yeah. So, you know, you're trying to match your steps up with what other people have and give them the right information. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Give me an ulcer. I can't do that.
You also don't like real-time games, and you don't like Hanabi.
Yeah, well, I mean, real-time I don't really have that big of a problem with, but I don't know. It always tends to devolve into cheating.
Ignore him.
We're not cheating. It's cooperative.
It's a blast and a half. No. It's from Tasty Minstrel Games, which means you're probably going to get really nice quality components. We were playing a very early prototype. It's not on Kickstarter yet. I think it's coming in maybe October. This is one I'm definitely going to consider backing because I loved it. And I have a feeling it's going to explode when it gets on Kickstarter.
It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
And that was my number 6, Bomb Squad from Tasty Minstrel Game. We're getting to the bottom half.
All right. Number 5, I'm coming in with Dragon Tides. This one came kind of out of nowhere. It's from Artistic Justice Games. And boom, Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, in a board game Run around, kicking A.
Yeah, this is actually another one that I had to scratch off my list so we could put it on his list. I believe I had it at number 5. It looked really cool. It caught me completely off guard. It's a miniatures game. He was telling us a story about how they got Bruce and Brendan Lee, and apparently they've never been in a Monopoly. They've never been in any other kind of games. So this is a first. I have a feeling they're going to take very, very good care of this. But the best way to say it is it's like Descent, but with a Kung Fu theme. Another thing that really intrigued me is that it's 1 to 5 players. So I'm really hoping that if that 1-player variant's pretty good, you could see quite a bit out of this game. It looked like a lot. And the last thing I want to mention is that it's being co-published, or they're being helped, I don't know how exactly that works, from Greenbrier Games.
Yeah,
the same guys who did Z-Pocalypse, which has absolutely gorgeous, I believe they made, I think it's called Fairy Tales Adventures or something like that. But they have really, really nice miniatures, so you know you're going to get top-notch miniatures. And the gameplay itself looked really cool as well.
Yeah.
It's on Kickstarter right now, actually, if you want to check it out. Dragon Tides. My number 5 was Kingsport Festival. And wow, I did not write down the name of the company because I am a noob. It's who made
We'll put it it's down below. It's right here.
Yeah, it's somewhere down there. It's Kingsport Festival. And this one completely caught me off guard. We were over there to do an interview with Antoine Bauza about
Stop looking at my paper.
We were over there doing an interview with Anton Bauza, and it's from the same company that released that game. And essentially, if you like Kingsburg, but you want more meat, this is the way to go. It looked like an absolute blast and a half. It's got the Kingsport rules where you're essentially going to be, it's worker placement, but the die are the workers. It's got a bunch of tracks. It's got the Cthulhu theme, which I can take it or leave it. But it looked like a much meatier version of Kingsport, which I am all about because I really enjoy Kingsport. You played Kingsport, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
This is one that definitely will probably end up coming onto my shelf probably in the next year or two, but it looked really, really nice. It's Kingsport Festival from the unnamed company. Yeah. So, number 4.
Mega Man the board game by Jasco Games. Huge Mega Man fan from back in the day. Played all the Mega Mans. That's what we did when we get out of school. We came across this game. We saw the miniatures, which are stunning. They said that just to get the rights to do this.
Wait, I gotta stop you real quick. Do you know what I did after school?
What'd you do after school?
I used to smoke doobies in a van down by the river. Sorry. Continue. We can edit that out, right? Yeah,
I'm just going to start editing other stuff in. That's what I'm going to start doing.
All right, so
Mega Man the game. So they were really particular about their miniatures. They were really particular about the image and all of that. So they were fine-tuning every little thing down to the finger and just getting these miniatures right. And then the gameplay, the board itself, where you have to play through the levels, fight the bosses, and they have it all on this large circular board, and it's all laid out. It's got the Mega Man colors. It's all the official colors. Everything that you love from Mega Man is now being put into a board game, and it looked like it was pretty fun.
It looked really beautiful. It really did. It looks like they put a lot of time and effort into this. I will say, though, out of the 22 games we have on both these lists, this could be the one that is the biggest pile of garbage. There was no playable copies.
Don't say this.
Like, not even with... Come on! You're at Gen Con.
We'll see.
There's 59,000
We'll
people.
see.
You can't put out a playable demo. Come on. I hope it's really good. I love Mega Man as well. But that one worries me a little bit. But it does look absolutely gorgeous. And I hope I am wrong. I hope it is awesome.
All right. Maybe it's the red tape. Just chalk it up. Maybe it's the red tape. Maybe
I'm a little bit worried.
Know. You never know. Maybe they're just really protective.
All right, my number 4, and I gotta say something. Any other year, I have a feeling you could take any 4 of my number 1 through 4, and that might be my number 1 or 2. This was a really top-heavy year. There was a lot of awesome games, and there's a lot of stuff that we didn't even get the opportunity to really get interviews with. I mean, XCOM, the Witcher game, we got the Orders. There was Golem Arcanum. There was so much really good stuff that the booths were just like armies of people, and you couldn't even get into there. So there's a lot of stuff we didn't get to see. Well, not too much, but there was some. But my number 4, starting off, is Cash and Guns from Repos Productions. Now, I love the original Cash and Guns. I loved it a lot, and I was like, why are they changing it? Why are they changing it? Just reprint it so I can go buy it. They shouldn't have listened to me, and they didn't listen to me, so good for you, Repost Productions. It is fantastic. They streamlined it so perfectly. They got rid of all the stuff they didn't need, and now it is super simple, but at the same time, super fun. It is, without a doubt, the most fun you can have pointing a gun at someone, I think.
Yeah.
Top three, at least.
I missed that one. That's what I'm sad I missed.
It was a blast. I was heavily inebriated, and I sat down in a pickup group with a bunch of people and played it, and I might have got a little bit too into it. Sorry, random people. I was doing like the kill shot and stuff like that, offering people... Well, anyway, Cash and Guns, Repost Productions. You can't go wrong. The first edition is great. The second edition is great. But I will say, I think I like the second one just a smidge better because it is incredibly streamlined. You can play it with, I'd say, anyone as young as a 7-year-old, as long as you don't mind them pointing guns at people.
Yeah.
Number 3.
King of New York from Yellow. You know, a lot of people are saying this game isn't different enough from King of Tokyo. I think it's just different enough. You know, they changed the dice, they changed the cards, they changed the board. Now there's board movement. You've got all new characters, which are funny and fun and great. You know, but they didn't change it too much, so you can still use your characters in King of Tokyo, you know. But they did change the way that you get the money and you can get health, and now there's other places that can hurt you, and so they mix it up just enough to make sure that it's still fresh, but it's a different game. And I really enjoyed it, and so does the rest of my family. So that's going to be a favorite one in my house.
I'm going to eat some crow right here. I got to Gen Con, I watched the demo of it played, and I was not sold. I was not sold at all. I didn't think it was enough change to warrant a purchase. However, we ended up fidangling ourselves a copy. Check out our review. After you get over this video. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I still don't know if it's worth owning both, but King New York on its own is a fantastic game. I think if you're dealing with a primarily older crowd, like if you're never going to play with anyone under the age of say 10, I think you go King of New York every time. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast. I can't recommend it enough. I can recommend it enough. No, I can't recommend it enough.
You can't.
I cannot stop playing it. It's so fun.
Okay.
But highly recommended. That's King of New York from Yellow. Moving on to my number 3. This is from Cosmic Wombat Games. This is called Campaign Trail. You're probably not going to see this on too many other lists. I love this game. I love the concept of this game. I love the idea of running a campaign. I've always liked political-themed games very much because, you know, I really like politics. At least, you know, probably about 2 weeks out of every 4 years, I really like politics. The rest of the time, I don't care. But I like it a lot in gameplay. Actually, one of my favorite mechanics in games, period, is being the president of something. I actually ruin games of Battlestar Galactica because that's all I focus on. But this one really had a unique twist where it's not 1 versus 1. It actually plays up to 6 players, and you can play as an independent third party, which they've done, obviously. I'm hoping they did a lot of balancing on. But you can play with teams, so one person can be the president, one person can be the vice president, so you can have up to 6 people playing. It looked really cool. The map was huge and gorgeous.
It was big board.
I really can't wait to check this one out, and I'm very, very excited because I actually emailed them and said, hey, you're going to be putting this on Kickstarter, I think next year at some point. And they're like, yeah. I was like, you want somebody to do a preview video for it? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, look no further. So, Campaign Trail from Cosmic Wombat Games. We got an interview with them. The game itself looks really, really cool.
Yeah. You're trying to get votes, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to get the voter base. Yeah, that was an interesting one.
I'm super excited from that. They also had some other games, too, that look really cool. Grow Garden Grow, a bunch of stuff. Check out our Gen Con footage. But that's a company to keep your eye on, Cosmic Wombat Games.
All right, my number 2. I'm excited for this one for a number of reasons.
Second drinking game on the list.
Drinking Dice by Bigfoots Games LLC. Now, I didn't need to see this at Gen Con to love this idea. They turned a 6-sided die into an 8-sided die. One side means drink, the other side means give a drink. Essentially creating a drinking game out of any game that has dice.
Yeah,
it's so simple, but it's so brilliant.
So if you're not quite understanding it, it's an 8-sided dice. It's still got numbers 1 through 6.
Yep.
But it also has those additional
pips or numbers.
Yeah.
It's on Kickstarter right now, and I'm getting some.
I'm also a back of it.
Yeah.
Well, he had some dice to show off. They looked like really nice quality dice.
And the Bigfoot's dice in that game are really nice. So I know he can at least follow through on that. And if that's the only thing, then you're golden, right?
Drinking dice number 2. You showed me another list with that on there.
Hey, I love it. That's gonna make every game in my attic more fun, and it's gonna bring it in, and it's gonna just let me freshen it all up.
Well, here's a surprise for you. My number 2 is actually somewhat more obscure than that is.
Oh.
That one's on Kickstarter now. It's got like 100-something backers. Mine was I'd call this the hidden gem Gencon for me. Absolutely. I had a hard time not putting this as my number 1. My number 1 I absolutely adore. This is called Witch Hunt from Kyle Brockman. Now, I just randomly stumbled into a game of this. You were actually supposed to pay to play it, but I actually had a wristband on that they thought was their wristband, so they let me in anyway. And I'm glad they did. It is a game that I think one day might potentially replace Werewolf for me completely, which is saying a lot because Werewolf is in my top 20 games of all time. It's a game I absolutely adore, but Witch Hunt is better, I do believe. So, what is Witch Hunt? Same general premise. You're trying to find out who the witches are before they kill you all. But there's some big changes to the game. In addition, you're going to have your standard villagers and your standard witches, but in addition to being a villager, you're going to have a special role. So everybody gets a special role. So there's not that problem in Werewolf. You're like, I'm a villager. You're always going to have a special, unique ability. Another thing they fixed, I'm going to say fixed, is that once you're dead in Werewolf, you're dead. You're out. You're done. Have fun. If you get shafted in the first round, you get shafted in the first round. They actually can make you, I believe it's called an angel or a demon, where you're going to have some cards that you can play on the people of the city after you die. So you can curse people, so you can try and help out your team.
That's the part that I really liked.
Yeah.
That was one of my main problems with Werewolf. The few times that I've played it is getting out early and just, I guess I'll watch or go get some potato salad from the kitchen.
And there's one thing that also I liked a lot. If you want to leave, you can leave, though. You don't have to sit there because there'd be like 3 people and they decide what they want to do.
So I can still go get that potato salad. Can I come back?
It's Witch Hunt. It's from Kyle Brockman. I believe he said it's going to be on Kickstarter in October. This is an insta-back for me. If you enjoy Werewolf, I would highly recommend insta-backing this one. It looks fantastic. Now, you still need a moderator, which is going to be one big thing that other people don't like. And I want to give a shout-out to Two Rooms and a Boom, my number 10 game. You don't need a moderator for that game. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Witch Hunt, Kyle Brockman. It's coming to Kickstarter in October. I believe it's going to have 20 different roles, but they said they play tested like 300 or something. So I have a feeling that if this gets big, you're going to have, like your Beezier Games Werewolf game where there's just like a boatload of roles. Witch Hunt, Kyle Brockman. Keep your eye out for it. It's a blast and a half. But
Number 1?
Number 1s.
Zombie 15 from Yellow. This is another one I didn't play. I watched it play. You did play, I think I enjoyed it a bit more than you did.
So let's preface this first. I played with 3 complete strangers.
Yeah.
I played in front of like 20 people.
If not more.
I played in an extremely loud convention hall with voices booming over, Billy, your lost child is, And I was really excited for this game as well. And
there are a lot of people named Billy that have children. By that, I think they switched to William or something.
Whatever.
At least Bill.
I was not that impressed with it. I really wasn't, but I would like to give it another shot, absolutely, before I really put out my final impression on the game. And we were also playing on level 5 instead of level 1.
It was hard. It was
really
hard.
difficult. I like some of the mechanics. The miniatures were nice. We were playing on a giant board, but I was not completely sold on it based on the MSRP. Because I believe the MSRP is $80.
Yeah. Well, the final board is supposed to be really detailed and really nice. I mean, we played on a large board made specifically for Gencon, so it was huge and impressive. But I think the one that you get out of the box, from what I've seen, is supposed to be really nice.
I wouldn't even put it in my top 50. I was not. I
liked it. I was watching what you were doing. I was watching what they were doing. I was watching. Well, the guy who created it helped you guys because he thought I was going to play before we started. And I was like, no, I'm just holding the camera, And so he jumped in and helped the game along. But it's got a soundtrack to it that you play along with it. And that's That's what I'm saying. Like the real-time games, I'm not opposed to it. But from what I saw, it looked gorgeous. Looked like it was going to be great coming out of the box. You know, may take some time to set up. You may have to get it all in the mood and get the people who are going to work with you because it is cooperative. That's another thing. If you have new people there like you did and you were, so not knowing the ins and outs of it really didn't help you guys because it's 15 minutes.
I just realized I'm not the biggest fan of your number one, and you're also not the biggest fan of my number one.
What's your number one?
Yeah, sure. My number one is from Arcane Wonders, who I adore, Mage Wars, Sheriff of Nottingham. Now, I really wanted to put Witch on at number one, but Sheriff of Nottingham, I went in with high expectations. I came out and I was floored. I absolutely adored the game. This was the one big game I bought at Gencon. Since I've got it home, I've probably played 15 games of it. Everyone I've played with has absolutely adored it, aside from this guy.
I'm just not a fan of the BS games, of the lying games, you know.
Love it!
I'm just not a huge fan, and that's what the game is. Like, it's not much more than that.
It's not anything more than that. I mean, there's a set collection.
That is what it is. So if you don't like that, like me, you know, not a huge fan of it, you know, you might not like this game. You have to give your bag to the guy and look him directly in the eye and say, I have this.
You don't like looking people in the eyes?
And no, I don't like looking people in the eyes. Unless I have to.
I like your game, Arcane Wonders, because you make me look people in the eye. I love it. If you like the BSing, if you like trickery and bluffing and negotiating just a little bit, you're absolutely going to love this game because they took those elements and they threw out everything else. There could have been a drafting mechanic, there could have been this mechanic, that mechanic. I said, no, we're going to focus completely in on this, hone in on it, and make it, in my opinion, just about perfect. It's my number one game of Gen Con 2014, and I'm pretty sure right now it's my number one game of the year. Absolutely.
I'll play it again, but
love it.
You know, it's not my number one.
I'm really disappointed I didn't get the promo cards when I was there, but I'll definitely get it, and I hope there's an expansion. I hope, because I love it so much. Sheriff of Nottingham, my number one. Zombie 15, his number one. Overall impressions of Gen Con, though, your first time, what'd you think?
Oh, it was great. It was overwhelming. There's tons of people, a lot of cosplay, a lot of fun stuff going on. You know, food trucks, and we'll get into that later. But, yeah, it was great, and I can't wait to go back next year.
Absolute blast. Cannot recommend. Indianapolis, once again, knocking it out of the park. That was our top 10 games of Gen Con. What did you think of it? What did we miss? What was your top game of Gen Con? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this, be sure to click on the subscribe button. If you didn't enjoy it, click on the subscribe button. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
Bauer's Game Corner presents Gen Con Video Bonanza 2014. Made possible by Billionaire Banshee, Guys, Games, and Beer, Dashing Inventor Games, creators of the Simple System role-playing game system, and Zonko, makers of Mobs, the t-shirts that turned life into an RPG.